Hello, I'm Kads, and welcome to today's video. So it is that time once again. We have another challenge tournament coming up here soon, starting tomorrow. It is a dragon tournament for Lizardmen only. As usual, this is always a great opportunity to try and snag some Relentless and potentially a Void Shard if they offer that on the rewards on the right at 2100 points. Most of you already know the drill if you've watched some of my other videos like this, but you want to aim for stage 16 if you care about just speed farming and getting it done because it's Void without having to worry about affinity, or you can try and challenge yourself a little bit more with stage 20, see if you can put together a team that can work for that. And if you're super endgame, then you can start talking about stage 24, 25, but that's going to be quite difficult. Stage 20 offers you the best points per energy spent, making it one of the most efficient stages to run for tournaments like this. But if that proves too difficult or your Lizardman pool is very limited, then again, feel free to drop down to stage 16 or even stage 13 if you're super early on, because the goal here is to get the Relentless and or the points on the right, and it's not necessarily to have the fastest clear time. So success over speed. As for whether or not you should partake in this tournament, I leave that up to you guys. If you have a fairly empty or easy or dead group, then by all means go for this. And if you're skipping the OL fusion, then this is also a great place to use your energy because you could get a lot of bang for your buck. So going into stage 20 here, this is the team that I've been running and testing. You can see it's only a 4-man squad because the 5th slot wasn't really necessary, and it actually slowed the runs down because of animations. So I have Fushan in here because he has a little bit of CC. I have my Nekmothar. I have Pythion, Recent Fusion, great opportunity to use him. He can keep your team alive. And Venomage is obviously the win condition with her poisons. Once again, since this is a bit of a longer run, I'm not going to run it live for you guys here, but I do have a screenshot from one of the 10 or so test runs that I did. And this is a fairly safe team. Again, Pythion just kind of keeps your team alive, and I'll share the builds for these champions later on. But you can see here that Fushan does a little bit of AoE damage during the waves. Nekmothar does a little bit of AoE damage as well because he has 2 AoEs. Pythion does basically nothing but all of our healing, and Venomage is obviously the hard carry with poisoning the waves and poisoning the dragon. And I don't always show the AI customization here, but in this case I want to highlight a couple of things for this specific composition. My Fushan is unbooked, so completely unbooked. I just put some gear on him, or he has gear on him for Faction Wars. And so I just made sure to prioritize the shred ability, even though it's a 4 times at random. I'd prefer that he lead with a decreased defense, even though it's not AoE, and then follow up with the stun chance. Same thing for wave 2. And on wave 3, I just turn off the stun. You can't stun the boss, so there's no point. And I'd rather get more shreds, or more howls, sorry, on the A1. Pythion is free to do whatever because he has relatively smart AI and he doesn't really need, he just cleanses basically the entire time and heals with the A1. Nekmothar, I kind of left him to his devices as well. He's negative affinity, but that's irrelevant because again, Pythion will keep him alive even if he were to die, but he also brings decreased speed, leech, and decreased attack, as well as a bunch of turn meter control. And Venomage here, the win condition, pretty much left her to her own devices as well, but I did turn off the A2 on all waves because we don't really need decreased defense because Fushan's bringing it, and we don't really need decreased attack because Nekmothar is bringing it, and so this just gives her another opportunity to use the A1 to try and pop some of the poisons. So as promised, I'm going to walk you through the builds on the 4 champions that I shared today. However, this is not meant for you to copy the builds if you happen to have these champions. This is more just to show you how my team works. So for starters here, we have my Hydra built Nekmothar, who's in a provoke set, and that is so that he can be the backup provoke on the Head of Decay. And he's built pretty tanky with about 46,000 HP, 3.2k defense, very fast, 248 speed, and a little less than I'd like, but 383 on the accuracy. He has a very amazing accuracy banner here with the double speed roll maxed out. On the amulet, we have HP with some accuracy. On the ring, we have HP with defense and HP. On the boots, we have speed with some accuracy, a little bit of HP. On the chest, we have defense with speed and accuracy, sensing a theme here. HP with speed. This is literally just to complete the provoke set. I'm not truly happy with this piece. That's why it's not 16, but we'll see if I can get something, a different bottom piece later on. On the shield, speed and accuracy, a little bit of defense, speed and accuracy, a little bit of defense, and speed and accuracy. Next, we have my Faction Wars Fushan, who's just kind of in a smattering of gear at the moment. Total stats here are 41,000 HP, 4.4k attack, just under 200 speed, full crit rate, 200 crit damage, and 259 accuracy, which is enough for Faction Wars. On the banner, he actually has attack, because I didn't need the accuracy, so I went for attack banner to help him hit a bit harder. On the amulet, I have crit damage with a little bit of accuracy. On the ring, we have an attack ring with HP and attack. On the boots, we have speed with some crit rate, a little bit of accuracy. On the chest, we have attack percentage with a double crit, double accuracy with some speed. Love that chest. Crit damage on the gauntlets with some crit rate and attack and HP. Got some speed and crit rate with some HP and a cruel set here. Hella attack with some speed and accuracy and a little bit of crit. And then a little bit boosted accuracy here with some speed and some crit damage. Next, we have the star of the show here with Venomage, who's in a Relentless set. So she can take a bunch of extra turns and just pop the poisons a little bit quicker. 45,000 on the HP, 2.8k on the defense, 235 on the speed, not really built for damage, and 328 on the accuracy. She has an accuracy banner with some speed on it, a little bit of survivability stats, HP amulet with some accuracy, defense ring with defense and HP. Speed on the boots with one accuracy roll, not the best, but it's Relentless, hard to come by, and for reasons like this is why I like to participate in these tournaments to try and improve my Relentless gear. On the chest, we have an awesome one, defense percentage with some speed and some accuracy, a little bit of HP. HP gloves with some speed, speed on the shield, speed and accuracy on the helmet, and speed and accuracy on the weapon. And lastly, we have my Python here, who I built more for PvE, less for PvP, so he's not going to be in immunity or stone skin or anything like that, but he is in a regen set. Total stats here are 72,000 HP, 2,800 on the defense, 238 on the speed. I want that a little bit higher, closer to 250, and about 500 resistance and no accuracy because he does not need it. On the banner, we do have a resistance banner with double speed with some HP. Love to see it. We have a defense ring, or defense amulet, sorry, with resistance, a HP ring with HP and defense, speed on the boots with a double resistance roll with some defense, HP on the chest with some speed and resistance, HP on the gloves with speed and resistance. Sensing a pattern here as well for him. Speed, resistance, and HP on the shield, resistance with defense, speed on the helmet, and speed with resistance on the weapon. So now we're going to talk about some of the other champions in the Lizardmen faction that you could use to get this tournament completed. And it's been a while since I've said it in one of these types of videos, but when we're talking about alternative champions that you can use, to me, free-to-play does not mean that you'll never ever have any legendaries, so legendaries are fair game as far as alternatives are concerned. However, if you don't have them, then you can focus on the epics that we're going to talk about today. Kicking things off, we do have the person we can never fail to mention, which is Dracomorph, of course, well known for his cannon of an A1, as well as his multi-poison placing ability here and the AoE decrease, defense, and weaken. Although mine is not built nor featured, Rosin is an honorable mention because he does have the bog down ability, even though it's on a 6-turn cooldown. But if you do have him built and booked, he can be a control champion for at least wave 1, depending on how long your run takes. But for the boss, he does have decreased defense and weaken on a single target, and he can remove buffs on the A1. An honorable mention here would be the Sausage here, Vergamkar, who does have AoE decreased defense and increased defense in one kit. However, of course, he has negative affinity for stage 20, so he might not be as reliable. Of course, we have to mention Krisk, who's the ultimate carry for everyone in the game with the passive, where he can place decreased defense and decreased attack, a little bit of a provoke, buff extension, ally protection, continuous heal on himself, increased defense on himself with this ability, increased speed on himself. You guys know Krisk. He's good everywhere, and he's definitely going to be good here if you happen to have him. And I wish I had him, Chogger here, who does also have AoE decreased defense, but he also places some poisons, which synergizes well with his A1, where he can put targets to sleep, and his passive, where he will automatically counterattack at the start of an enemy's turn if they are under a poison tick placed by this champion. So he can basically put a champion to sleep and negate their turn before they go. Skipping down to the epics, honorable mention would be Jarang, who does have this 3 times at random, decreased defense, decreased attack, so he could be good on the dragon himself, but he's not going to be as strong on the waves, similar to my Fushan. Next to him, we do have Jarag, who does have decreased attack on the A1, as well as added protection and increased defense on a 4-tone cooldown, and the passive that can provide a bunch of continuous heals when you're hit, so he can be more of a protection champion if your champions are dying, or if you don't have Python or something like that. Honorable mention to Basilisk here, who does have an AoE on the A1, so if you want to run him in a stun set, turn off the A2, although the A2 can place a stun, even on a weak or negative affinity, but if you just want him in a stun set to crank out A1s, he can definitely be a control champion. Not mandatory, but just an honorable mention. Aox, they remember, is really good for this dungeon. He does have poisons on the A1, 30% chance. He has a little bit of a heal, and he can, after he attacks one enemy, but he most importantly has AoE decrease attack and decrease crit rate, and when he's hit, he can extend random debuffs on the attacker by 1 turn. Another honorable mention would be Broodlord here, because on the A3, he does have a 50-50 shot to stun enemies, so if you need some sort of control, then he can be your guy there. If you don't have a Pythion, then you could use Broadmaw, who is free to obtain, who has a freeze on the A1. He does have increased crit rate big version with increased speed small version on a 3-turn cooldown, and he has a 2-person revive with block damage on them. And lastly, another honorable mention, we do have Skathix here, who is a 4-turn duration cleanser with block debuffs and a shield, but he can also steal some buffs on the A2. Alrighty, so that's going to do it for today's video. Once again, this is the 4-man squad that I'm going to be running for stage 20 for the Lizardmen only Dragon tournament starting tomorrow. Best of luck to all of you who will be participating in this tournament, and hopefully you guys get an easy group so you can pick up that Relentless and or Void Shard. I am always curious, so if you guys do have a team of your own, be sure to leave that in the comment section down below, because I would love to see what you guys come up with. If you found this video helpful, then be sure to drop a like down below, and if you enjoy the video and others on the channel, then be sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.